all part of what people here say is leveling the field for students with fewer family resources.
All right, you are all finished?
The sky's the limit to what potential our students have.
Larry Connor's investment in the Dayton School will move to Deeds Point for next fall. They are in the process of building this brand new school, and they will continue to do the kind of work that we just showed you. In Dayton, Mike Campbell, News Center 7.
A new video to show you at 11 from police body camera showing officers rescue a mom and her 2 kids from this flash flood. Here in California, police said the water was not deep, but the current, as you see there, so strong, they think it would have swept away the family had the officers not been here to help them. You can see right here one officer hold on to other officers while he carried a child. Flooding happened after more than 2 inches of rain fell from what was left of Hurricane K.
And now, your Storm Center 7 forecast with meteorologist Robert Gauthreaux III.
I'm glad to have you in tonight. Paying attention in the overnight hours for the potential for some fog to develop.
Yeah, already seeing a little bit of dew on the grass. That's because at night, as the heat radiates out into space, it gets real cool right down on the ground. And where we have dew now, that'll eventually grow into fog a little bit later. We're not going to see fog everywhere, though, but I think we will see some good fog develop overnight because we have that moisture, we have temperatures dropping, so looking outside, not really seeing it yet. You can see out in Troy, still clear as we head down the public square, going around the roundabout, but not much fog there yet. But the grass is a little bit wet because my shoes are a little bit wet from walking in it, so the dew is there. So we're likely going to see a little bit of fog developing overnight. And temperatures are dropping. We're in the mid-60s already, about 66 in Dayton. Looks like some of you are in the 50s, 59 in Sydney, 59 in Urbana. Bellefontaine is 57. Looks like that's the cool spot. A little bit warmer out toward eastern Indiana, about 67 in Richmond. Now, I mentioned we do have some moisture, and with the temperature dropping, that's why we're going to see fog. Now, the term dew point actually comes from dew. I mean, you think about it, right? You're like, what does dew have to do with this? I guess no pun intended, but that's because there at the ground where the dew is forming, the temperature is dropping and it's meeting the dew point. Once that happens, that's fog. 100% humidity you can expect. If there's fog outside your house tomorrow, it's 100% humid, even though it may not feel very muggy. That's what humidity means. So dew points are in the upper 50s and low 60s. I almost tripped on the stand here. Somebody moved it. I'll have to talk to McCall about that. The next 24 hours, temperature is dropping to the upper 50s. And as I mentioned, dew points are in the upper 50s. The closer the temperature and that dew point temperature get, that's when we can see the potential for some fog forming. And we'll show you that here. The visibility, futurecast, you can see moving to about the 5 o'clock hour. You start to see it develop. And still by 8 a.m., so perfectly during your commutes, you'll probably run into a little bit of fog. So, give yourself some time to leave early. Use your turn signals so people don't have to predict what you're trying to do. It's a safe thing. Also, the wind's not very strong. That's one reason why we're going to actually see the fog develop. Usually if the wind's too breezy, if it's too strong, kind of blows some of the fog around. But winds are generally pretty calm. And you notice they're not really coming from one direction necessarily. So that's why we're going to see the potential for fog developing. Although right now, the clear skies, but that's going to allow the heat to radiate out into space. That's going to allow the temperature to drop. And as I mentioned, we're already starting to see it cool off enough there at the ground to see some dew. Clouds and rain across much of the Midwest, not really there. We're looking at some clear skies. And we're going to stay pretty dry moving into the next several days. Here's a look at tomorrow morning. You can still see the fog kind of picking up there in the futurecast, but not really expecting any rain, just a few passing clouds. Should be a pretty nice day. A little bit warmer, a touch more humid than the last several days. Moving into Friday, looking pretty dry as well, just a few more clouds. And you can see here over the next 7 days, while we have kind of a cool start again tomorrow, looking at 85 for Friday. It's a little bit above average for this time of year. And then moving into the weekend and even into really much of next week, you'll notice temperatures in the upper 80s. So that is above average. It seems like it's been a relatively cool summer aside from June when it was really hot. But we are moving up. We will be above average, it looks like, over the next 7 days. So we had that sneak peek of fall, but we have a little extra summer. I like to call it lagniappe. That's the Cajun term. It means a little extra. We got a little lagniappe summer coming our way.
Lagniappe. Can you spell that for me?
L-A-G-N-I-A-P-P-E.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Thank you, sir. Food prices, not been this high in almost 50 years. This has us looking at what shoppers are paying more for and ways we can all save some money.